What's up, y'all? Crystal here. Just wanted to record this video really quick for the wives out there. Just some encouragement, I want to encourage you to stop waiting for your husband to jump on board. Stop waiting for him to jump on board. I say that because I can only, say this from my point of view, my perspective, my story. And for many years, my husband and I have been married for, why am I the one? I'm the one that always gets stuck. Like, it's usually the men. I think 9 years. We've been married for 9 years. And I always knew that I would wait. Like, if I would go share something with my husband, and if he's not showing the same excitement, or if he didn't feel the way that I felt about it, or he didn't show the same interest, I would not do it. I wouldn't do it. Because I wanted him to feel the same way that I felt about something. And y'all, I did this in a lot of stuff. With our finances, with something that I knew could benefit our family. I did it with quite a few things. And even with me being myself. So, and it just held me back from doing a lot of things and just being true to who I am. And if more than anything, our family needs us to be true to who we are and be in our purpose and live the life that we're supposed to live and not be miserable, right? They benefit the most from that. Even if it is uncomfortable and there's a phase where they just don't get it or they don't understand, but So I use our finances as an example. I would always go to my husband and say, we need to sit down and have a budget. We need to talk about our money. We need to have a money meeting. We need to do this with this. We need to do this. You need to stop doing this. I would constantly do that. And I did that for years. So because I had this mentality back then of like, well, if he ain't doing it, I'm not doing it either. Our finances crashed and burned. Like, we would make these horrible financial decisions. Like, we can go spend together for sure. Oh, let's go shopping. We'll do that. Let's go eat. We'll go do that. Or let's go out of town. We'll do that with no problems. Like, we see we got a little bit of money in the bank. We're going to spend it pretty much. We didn't have no plans for our money or none of that stuff. And it cost us so much in the long run because we got in debt. We would go buy things that we couldn't afford. But because, we just felt like we had the money without planning or being strategic, which is why I call myself the wealth alignment strategist for families and for moms, because, that's the problem. We didn't have no strategy. We weren't in alignment with our money. We were telling our money where to go, but in the bad way. We were just spending it up, not saving, not doing anything. And here we are, now we're trying to pick up the pieces and rebuild and set the foundation. And that's just who I was. Like, I would go to him and say, oh, we need to do this. And if he wouldn't do anything, he wouldn't come back to me and say anything, I would just be like, okay, whatever. So that's what it is. And it can cost you. And I want to encourage you to just do it. Just do it. Like, as long as if you and your husband have a joint account, which y'all should, because you should know if whoever is the breadwinner, it doesn't matter. If you're in my household, my husband is the sole breadwinner. In my household, my husband is the sole breadwinner. So I'm sorry, I got thrown off track because looking at a text message. I would see the money coming in. We had a joint account, but we would pay our bills, or we would rob Peter to pay Paul. We would put this extension on this bill and do this, and we didn't have priorities in place. And I knew that I needed to get a budget. I knew that I needed. So obviously I knew, like I said, if I would go to him and say, we need to do this and we need to do that, I just wouldn't do it because he wouldn't show any interest in what I was doing. Or he wouldn't say, okay, yeah, let's do this. Come on, let's get our money together. So imagine knowing that I needed to do it, and I would go to him at least every month and say, we have to do this. We have to get this under control. But then after that, I did nothing. And I was the person to buy the planners, print out the budgets, track all the expenses, but still didn't do anything because he didn't want to do anything or he didn't join me in it. So don't be that person, because it will cost you so much in the long run. Then you'll find yourself later on when you want to get your finances together, because you finally see that it's not going to go the way that you want it to go. Now you have all this debt. Now you have all of this, these issues with money, and now you have to pick up all the pieces when you can do it now and stop waiting for him. So this is how you should do it. Go ahead, track all your money, have a budget in place, know your bills, know where everything goes, know what money is loose and falling through the cracks and stuff like that. Begin to get it under control and pray. Please pray. I don't know about y'all, but God is number one to me, number one in my life now. He wasn't back then, of course, if I had that mindset. But and it was a pride thing. I'll say that. Pride. It was a pride thing. Me and my husband wasn't doing great in our relationship, so it was pride getting in the way, and I wasn't caring about my family in the long term. I was caring about what my husband was doing and why he wasn't doing it. Like, you ain't doing neither, me neither. So what? But just do it, because as long as you be consistent in it, don't nag him anymore. Just say, go to him and say, okay, here's the budget. Here's our budget planner for our family, our home planner, which I've had and I have one now. If you need to see what bills need to be paid this week, here you go. I also had it at one point in our phones where we connected a note, and I would have all the information, household information in there. If you need to see where this bill goes, here you go. If you need to see what needs to be paid next week or the week after, here you go. And that's what I would tell him. And as long as I had access to the accounts, I knew, what needed to be paid, how much money was coming in, so we could pay this bill and pay that bill. So then eventually, after some time, it started getting better, because he saw that I'm going to do it anyway, because one of us have to do it. We have to be smart about what we're doing, wise about what we're doing. And he eventually began to come on board. We wouldn't have conversations about money because of, I guess, my approach and how I was doing it. So you also have to be humble about the way you approach your husband. But remember, if other things in your marriage is messy, trying to go talk to your husband about money is not going to work. And I think y'all know what I mean. If y'all not communicating well, you have problems all across the board. No, you're going to have to get that together. Okay. So eventually we started to get better, and he began to open up to me about money, because money conversations for us was very, very hard, and we would always argue. So I just decided, like, Crystal, you got to suck this up, girl. These are your kids too. It's not about y'all too and what y'all going through. Like, you have a legacy. When you hear the word legacy and you look at your children and you think about the decisions you're making financially now and how it'll affect them later, you will get on your job. Forget what your husband is saying. Forget what he's doing. Get your pride out of the way and get your money together. It does not matter. It don't matter. Because if he's not doing it, you're not doing it, everybody gonna crash and burn financially. And I knew that I didn't want my kids, like, I'm looking at my son now. If me and my husband have been bickering for at least 7 years of our marriage, and my son is 9, all the time that I wasted because of my mentality, and we would have been way better off. So now, 9 years from now, 10 years from now, 9 years from now, my son will be 18. What now? I have to, I'm not going to say that I have to work really hard, because, I believe God is a miracle worker. And as long as I'm doing my part, he'll put some things in place and move for us. But if I had got on it when my son was first born, or even before then, financially, I would be in a better place. But now I can still do that. And I'm not going to say that I have to work even harder. So I don't want you to feel that way either, as a mom and as a wife, that because you wasted time, you grow. And that's what growing and evolving means, is that you become aware, and now you're going to do what you have to do to change it. You're going to set your pride aside. You're going to get humble. You're going to stop spending all that money. You're going to stop waiting for your husband to jump on board. And you're just going to do it, because if you love your husband, you love your children, you'll do it anyway, no matter how it feels, because eventually it's all going to work together for you. So do what you got to do, and stop bickering and stop fussing and stop arguing, and just get your money right. Just do it and let him know. And then when you show your husband that you're doing it and you're trying to get it under control and you've been consistent with it, because for me, when I used to go to my husband and say, we need to do this, I got a budget and we need to do that, but I wasn't consistent. So why would he take me seriously and try to change if I was just talking and not changing? Isn't that how influence work? People like you or follow you for your consistency. So that's the thing in your household too. Your husband, he sees that you're consistent, you're serious, and you come to him at least once a week and say, here's the planner. These are the bills that need to be paid. This is what's coming in. This is what we're going to have left. You break it down real quick, 10, 15, 20 minutes and say, okay, cool, and keep moving. He'll come along. That's what my husband did. I feel like I just repeated myself, y'all, but I just want y'all to get this embedded in y'all minds. If you're dealing with stuff emotionally and mentally, like, it's going to affect you in your finances, and you will see that even when you begin to try to get your mind right and change your mindset towards money. You will see that. So just do it. Just do it. If you love him, if you love your family, you will get your money right. It doesn't matter how it feels, how uncomfortable it feels. Just get it together. Okay.